Do you wonder what to look for in choosing an investment? In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 things that I look for in analyzing an investment. Hi, I'm Camille Gaines. I'm a financial coach, and I've personally been investing for over 30 years. I don't manage wealth for other people, and I share with you what I have learned on this journey. And some of the lessons have not been so easy, so sometimes I think that's the best way to learn. And at this point in life, I look for these 3 things when I'm choosing an investment. And of course, there are other things, but these 3 things really can rule out a lot of analysis going further into figuring out whether an investment works. So the first thing that I look for is whether or not an asset is undervalued. So do I feel like I'm buying it cheaply? If it's undervalued versus something that's really, really overpriced because the market has been super, super strong, then it's usually, the market is usually more forgiving. You're already sort of beaten down. You're already getting good value for that company at that price. So that's number 1, is the asset that I'm looking at, the investment I'm looking to make, is it undervalued? And that might apply to some type of fund or some type of stock or some type of real estate. Whatever it is that I'm looking at, I always say to compare investing to buying anything. You're using your money and you have an expected outcome for that use of your money. And so you wouldn't buy anything without first making sure, hopefully, that you're getting it at a good price, at the best price that you can. And so investing is no different. So a super important question, I feel like, is, am I getting good value for this investment? Am I using my money for something that is slightly or significantly undervalued? So that's question 1. The second thing I like to get at this point in my life on an investment is some sort of income while I own the investment. Now, this will vary greatly depending on what your goals are with that investment. And that sort of goes back to that shopping lesson. You buy something with an expected outcome. And so what is the outcome that you're looking for the investment that you're considering? Is it because you want to get some income from it, or is it because you want it to grow and it'll be there for you in 20 or 30 years? At this point in my life, since I'm focused on income streams, I really like to invest in something that, number 1, is undervalued, but number 2, it's going to pay some sort of return while I own that investment. So that's the second thing that I look for. And particularly, things that I like in particular are real estate rental properties because they pay income while I own it. And the other thing that is of course much easier to purchase is stocks, common stocks or preferred stocks, either one. Stocks that pay out either a dividend, or sometimes I'll even sell a call option against a stock that I own. So those are 2 different ways that I can get income from a stock. The third thing that I look at, super, super important, and this is really probably the first thing, these aren't in any particular order of importance. The third thing I look at, but not necessarily in that order, is this investment, does it have an acceptable level of risk? So, if, for example, I look at what is the likelihood that this asset will go down, what are the different types of risks that I'm exposed to by owning this asset, and if it typically, for example, something like the stock market, the variables are fairly well known. We pretty much know every decade or so, every few years, we're going to have a major bear market. And so if I look back at this type of investment, what does it typically decrease by? And can I handle that? Can I handle that drop in the value of this asset? Or is this something that I'm going to need to sell and get my money out of? So that's a super important question. It's managing your risk around any investment that you make. So, with real estate, for example, there are more risk. There are more things that can happen. As far as different types of odd things that can happen, right, related to real estate. Whereas with stocks, pretty much, while there are a number of things that can happen, the company can go broke, the sector can fall out of favor, there could be political changes that make the value drop, the company could cut its dividend. All those things could affect the value, but fairly predictable are our stock market corrections and also bear market, and we have some pretty firm numbers on what that has been historically. And so it's looking at that ahead of time and just making sure before I consider an investment, is this something that I could live with? Could I ride this out? Those are the three things I wanted to mention with you in this video that I like to look for when I consider an investment. Those three things are, does it have an acceptable level of risk? Is it undervalued? And also, does it pay some sort of income while I own that investment? That's what I wanted to share. If you found this information helpful, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up and let me know you liked the video. I'll put a link below where I have more information on this on my own website. And feel free to share this if you found it helpful. Remember, I don't give financial advice. I simply share what I've learned from investing on my own for well over 30 years now. Thanks for watching.